It is no secret to longtime fans of the channel that trading card games have been a big influence in my life, both on and off the channel. In this series, both DemonBattler and myself will be opening 24 packs, or one box, of each core Yu-Gi-Oh! Booster set in chronological order. After each opening, we will build decks from all of the cards we have opened thus far, then duel each other in a best-of-3 match with 3 prizes up for grabs to improve our decks. The winner will receive 2 of those prizes, and the loser will get 1. The possibilities for prizes are almost limitless, including single cards, sealed product, structure decks, and much more. Every card in the entire game's history will be obtainable in some form. However, neither of us will be able to rest on past laurels easily. The ever-changing official Forbidden and Limited list, our own choices of cards to be banished to the Shadow Realm, and even changes to the very rules of the game will keep our decks and duels fresh. This is yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression series. Metal Raiders was released June 26, 2002. This set is the largest core set in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! And contains quite a lot of power that we'll be going over. There are still a lot of normal monsters, but there is a marked increase in effect monsters, and we do have some more powerful fusions as well that Demon could take advantage of due to his 2 polymerizations. We have a 1500 beater in Blackland Fire Dragon, but the big beater that we are going to be looking for in this set will be 7 Colored Fish. 7 Colored Fish is an 1800 beater and will be the gold standard for attackers in this format. Ryukushin Powered is also a 1600 attack Fiend-type monster, which is pretty big, considering that if we are still on the Dark Energy card, we could be looking at a 1900 attacker. We have Tremendous Fire as a burn spell. That does 1000 points of damage to your opponent and 500 damage to you. Jirai Gumo is a way to get over 2k defenders, which there is another new one in Prevent Rat. There is a big risk to Jirai Gumo because you have a 50% chance to lose half of your life points when you attack with it. But it's a 2200 normal summon, which is going to be bigger than just about anything. A Sword of Deep-Seated could potentially see play both as a buffing card and an anti-deck out tool, but it does go to the top of your deck. It is mandatory to do so. Paralyzing Potion is our first piece of common removal, and actually increases the value of machine-type monsters slightly, but this is a way to deal with some of the big bombs, such as Trihorn Dragon. The rares are really where things start to ratchet up in power. There are a lot of really strong rares in this set. Mask of Darkness is Trap Recursion, Magician of Faith is Spell Recursion, White Magical Hat and Mass Sorcerer both let you get ahead on cards. Princess of Tsurugi is a pretty powerful burn card, not now, but later, once we have more back row. A Shadow Ghoul becomes the best 1 tribute in the game if games go late. A Dark Elf is a 2k attacker that requires a 1000 life point cost. This will see play if we get it. Sandgen and Witch of the Black Forest are pretty impressive monsters too. They will pretty quickly be semi-limited and eventually limited, but these are your floaters that can search into just about anything. We do also have the attribute-based 2-star monsters that increase the stats of monsters of their attribute. If you get multiples of these can make monsters rather large. A Shield and Sword is a really cool combat trick. This swaps the attack and defense values of every monster on the field. This is something that is going to give us another way to get over 2k defenders and also offensively use the 2k defenders by making their attack 2000 for 1 turn. A lot of the big prizes, though, are at the super and ultra rare slots. A Tribute to the Doomed, while still a 2-for-1, is our first unconditional piece of monster removal. It can destroy anything. Face up, face down, does not matter. A Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon is something I am very scared of Demon having because this is a 2800 fusion monster which gets over everything except Trihorn Dragon, and it's very easy for him to make this because Thunder Dragon can search itself by discarding, so if he gets 3 of those and a Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, That is a very respectable 2800 summon. Heavy Storm is probably the best super rare. This destroys all back row. It's our first real piece of back row removal, so we won't be doing too many setting of cards due to maximum hand size if we see this. Garnecia Elephantis is probably the worst super rare for us. Harpy Lady Sisters could potentially be used depending on our pulls, but Garnecia is just a 2400 normal summon in a pretty bad type. Catapult Turtle is the other noteworthy super rare in the set. While it's not super useful now, once we get Magical Scientist, this can facilitate some OTKs with some of the 2K and 2100 fusion monsters that are in the set. Ultra Rare has by far the most power. There's Summon Skull, which is a 2500 one tribute monster, which will stay the largest until almost towards the end of GX era, where Frostosaurus becomes the largest one. Change of Heart is a control changing spell, which gets fantastic if you have tribute monsters, can be used as a tempo play. Solemn Judgment, Magic Jammer, Seven Tools of the Bandit, Horn of Heaven are all powerful, powerful interaction that we will use if we see play. Solemn Judgment is a forever staple. Mirror Force is our first battle trap that destroys all attacking monsters if your opponent declares an attack. So it's pretty powerful, and we'll see play for almost the rest of the progression series, and just almost every ultra rare is great. Barrel Dragon is a nice bomb too. We'll probably end up replacing the Trihorn Dragon if we get one. And then Time Wizard will see play for a few sets if we get it, just because of the... it's a board wipe that you only can really use if your back is to the wall anyway, just because of the high risk of downside, where if Time Wizard is not called correctly, you lose your entire board, and you take damage, and you leave yourself wide open to your opponent's direct attacks. Both of the secret rares are just awful. And before Metal Raiders was released, we did get the first Forbidden List and Limited List, although in this case it is just a Limited List in Yu-Gi-Oh's history, the May 2002 Limited List, which limited 12 cards. The 5 Exodia limbs, Change of Heart, Darkhold, Monster Reborn, Pot of Greed, and Raigeki are now limited to 1 copy each. Card Destruction and Swords of Revealing Light are semi-limited to 2 copies each. Alright, 24 packs of Metal Raiders. Lots and lots of power in the set. We want to see a lot of ultra rares. The super rares aren't amazing, but there are a lot of them that are good. Almost every ultra rare is fantastic, though. And even at the rare slot, there are a lot of very powerful cards. Not too many commons we're looking for other than 7-colored fish, but let's go ahead and get started with 24 packs of Metal Raiders. Mass Sorcerer is okay if we can get it working, but it's pretty difficult to get that card to function properly. We did pick up a couple of fusions, which could be good later on once we get our Magical Scientist. Especially if we can pick up a Catapult Turtle. If we can pick up a Catapult Turtle, we'll have that card in our back pocket for the Magician's Force episode. But that is quite a ways away. And there is our first holo. It is a Time Wizard, which is one of the ultra rares. We will probably play this just because it is a way to get out of situations when our back is to the wall. We did pick up our first 7-colored fish and a Witch's Apprentice. The Witch's Apprentice could potentially be useful, but the best card in this pack generically is by far 7-colored fish. There's a 2K Defender. Princess of Tsurugi, while not useful now, could wind up being useful later once we have more back row, and there could be a potential burn strategy, as well as just ways to abuse flip effect monsters. So that's something we can keep in our back pocket. And there's a Dark Elf. Dark Elf is fantastic, just what we're looking for. It's a 2K beater. We do have to pay 1,000 life points to attack with it, but that's not a big deal. Stimpak isn't bad either. It's a 700 attack pump, and then the equipped monster loses 300 attack every turn. So that could be something that we wind up playing just as an ability to get over a monster in the short term. Blue Wing Crown as a 1600 beater isn't bad, and Big Eye is a decent flip effect that we might wind up playing depending on what our deck looks like. There's another Mass Sorcerer, which, if we have the right deck, that card could be really good. But as it stands now, it's an okay card. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the defense to be able to reliably trigger off turn. If it had maybe a 1600 or even a 1700 defense stat, then it would be a great card because you could trigger it off turn, but unfortunately, that is not the case. Crass Clown is interesting too. If we're able to slow the game down enough, we might be able to play some form of clown control. Holy shit, we got a Solemn Judgment. That is the one card in this set that I wanted more than anything else. Demon is not going to be too happy, because the last time we did one of these, this was just the bane of his existence. I am very, very pleased that Solemn Judgment came back to me. That is a pay half of your life points to answer anything. That is a forever staple, and if he does not get one, he might end up banning this when we have Season 1 bans. And there's a Tribute to the Doomed. That's a nice pickup, as well as the Dark Elf. Tribute to the Doomed is going to be in our deck for the next several episodes because it is an unconditional piece of removal. We are not hurting for removal now. That is also our first copy of Thunder Dragon. To make use of that card, we really want to have 3 of it. That's a card I'm really scared of Demon having, because if he can make a twin-headed Thunder Dragon, that is a huge problem, just because it's such a massive body, and there really isn't a way for us to deal with massive bodies right now, because there is not a lot of low rarity removal. And there's... that's a twin-headed Thunder Dragon. That made me laugh pretty hard. Just hopefully this does not appear in Demon's Pool. But more importantly, we got the Witch of the Black Forest. This will float into whatever we need. This cannot get any of our big bombs, since with Dark Elf being in the format, Curse of Dragon is not playable anymore. But we do have that Witch of the Black Forest. And just to make things clear, we are playing with the pre-errata versions. So all of the cards that we have in our pool will be played at the time of the text for the most current set. And there's a Magician of Faith. That's another card I was looking for. So Magician of Faith is really, really powerful until about 2011, when it really stopped seeing play, but just what a card. This will buy back any spell card, is going to get incredibly abusable once we have ways to reuse flip effects. That's a very powerful card and is going to go into our deck, if not immediately, very soon. Block Attack is another potential way to deal with a large 1-tribute monster such as Summon Skull, as well as things like just 7-colored fish. So that might wind up seeing play, and because of the size of this set, getting playsets of commons, or even getting commons at all, is not guaranteed. This is a 144 card set, the largest set ever as far as a core set goes. There have been reprint sets that are larger, but this set in particular is just massive. There's a Shield and Sword. Pretty happy to see that. Shield and Sword is such a cool trick. It won't see play for very long, but it will be playable for a few sets, and it will result in blowouts when used properly. Shield and Sword is something that we will need to play around if we have a monster that we really need to protect. And there is Cimoooooooo as our rare. This is a card that would have been interesting in LOB format, but the format is getting a little bit too fast, and with the amount of back row that we won't have a ton of cards sitting in our hand. But it is certainly interesting. If you have 5 cards in your hand, it's a 2100 normal, but we do tend to run through our hands a lot more quickly than in Legend of Blue Eyes format. So there's a second Princess of Tsurugi. The Punished Eagle is important as well for the Magical Scientist package that we could potentially have. It won't do us too much good without Catapult Turtle, though. But the second Princess of Tsurugi is cool. We're still missing a couple of rares that I would like to see. I would like to see one more Magician of Faith. I would like to see Sangan. And then we still haven't hit too much at the higher rarity slot. We do have the Solemn Judgment, which is nice, but I would like to see one more good holo before we leave this spot. box. We're currently a little over halfway through. And there's a Mask of Darkness. That is Trap Recursion, which will get better as the sets go on. And we got 1,000 Dragon as a secret rare. Both of the secret rares in the set are god-awful. If Demon gets this, he may be able to make it. I just don't have the fusion card. Paralyzing Potion is nice too. That's our first one of those, and that is something that we will play because it is removable. And there's a Magician of Faith and a 7 Tools of the Bandit. 7 Tools of the Bandit is something that he is not going to see coming. That is a very powerful card. It won't be good now because we don't have a ton of trap cards, but that is something that I will side deck for now and will eventually make its way into the main deck. And the secret rare luck in the wrong set continues. We got both secrets out of the set again. Why couldn't this be in a set like Pharaoh's Servant when there's just Jinzo and Imperial Order? But we got ourselves a Gate Guardian. The Prevent Rat, which I believe is our... No, we have a playset of that. The Roaring Ocean Snake is probably the best card out of this set, and that all depends on if we get the right cards. But I do not need Gate Guardian. And there's a third Princess of Tsurugi. That could get really good once we have more back row. There could be perhaps the start of some kind of burn strategy, but other than that, nothing too noteworthy here. I don't need any more Princess of Tsurugi. I already have my playset. And there's an interesting rare. That is a Robin Goblin. That's one of the few playable trap cards that's not at super high rarity. So what Robin Goblin does is when you deal battle damage to your opponent with one of your monsters, they get to discard a random card from their hand. And the way this format is, with the lack of battle tricks, this could very easily tear up your opponent's hand, and that could make a spot in the main deck for an episode or two, possibly. Third Punished Eagle as well, in case we do get a Catapult Turtle. We're running out of packs to do it, but we can always wildcard one later if we want to. And there is our first Jirai Gumo. That was something that I was getting really concerned about, because that is a very powerful card that will make its way into the main deck. It honestly functions more like a 2200 defender than a 2200 attacker, but it can attack if you need it to. And there's the Sangan. That's a card I was really looking for in this set. We also got a copy of Soul Release, which is our first really playable Graveyard Hate. That is something that will probably go in our side deck depending on whether we get Revival later on. Pretty happy to see the Sangan. We will only want one copy of it because it will be limited fairly quickly, and it gets semi-limited almost immediately. So even if we get a second one, we won't get to play it for too long. Alright, so only a few packs left. I'm pretty happy with what I have so far. I got most of the good rares that I wanted. I'd like to pick up one more good holo, but we'll see if we can get it in the last 3 packs. That is not it. That is an Elegant Egotist, and Harpy Lady Sisters is a common in a reprint set down the line, so we may be able to pick up some copies of those, but not too happy with the cards in this particular pack. We have just 2 more packs left. Maybe we can snag something good. See, our second to last pack has... Oh, Mirror Force! Okay, then! That is a card that does things. This is very, very good. Mirror Force is insane. It's going to see play for probably the next 15 years worth of sets. But, yeah, Mirror Force in the close. Oh my god, that is going to either also be in Demon's Pool, or I will only have it for the first series, because I'm pretty sure once he sees this Mirror Force, it's going to be pretty high on his radar for bans. I haven't really discussed the banning system too much, but we will talk about bans once we get towards the end of the first season. But, yeah, Mirror Force, that happened. And then we'll see what is in our very last pack. That is nothing too special. Only one 7-colored fish, but we got Mirror Force, Solemn Judgment, 7 Tools of the Bandit. We have so many just insane trap cards. I am pretty happy with what I opened. And I got just enough of the rares that I wanted that I'll be able to put together a pretty cohesive deck. I will see you in deck edit. Well, here's the list. A lot has changed, as you can see, with the addition of good effect monsters, bigger beaters, and just more interaction. The format changed quite a bit. So we'll go down the card by card. 1 Cannon Soldier, because it's better than the 1400 attackers we were playing, and incidental burn damage to be able to finish the opponent off could be pertinent. 2 Dark Elf, this is the big beater that we were looking for. It's a 2k attacker, you have to pay 1,000 life points to attack with it, but your life total is a resource, use it wisely. And even just taking the role of a 2k defender in attack position is good as well. We have the 1 Hane Hane, double Magician of Faith to recur our power spells. In addition to Fisher, you do see a lot of power spells in the bottom of the deck list. 1 Sandkin, 1 Witch of the Black Forest as floaters. These are going to be in the deck forever, at least until they get eroded in Link format. We did pull the Time Wizard. I am choosing to play this in the main deck. The reason why I'm playing this in the main deck is because this gives us a board wipe if our back is to the wall. And this is one of those cards you really don't play unless you're going to lose the game anyway. Just because if this backfires, you're going to take tons of damage. But it is there if we do find ourselves in a tight spot. And then a bunch of normals. 7-colored fish. 1800 beater, only pulled 1. Blackland Fire Dragon. We have a bunch of 1500s because we are lacking in the 1600 and 1800 beaters this set had to offer. Flame Cerberus does replace Cursive Dragon, being a 2100 1 tribute that can actually beat over Prevent Rat. 3 Gazelle, 2 Giant Soldier of Stone, 3 Prevent Rat, still on the Red Eyes because it is a win condition. The Ryukushin Powered, the Skull Redbird, the Spirit of the Harp, the Urabi, Trihorn Dragon, still our primary win condition. And that'll do it for our monsters. For our spells, we have 1 copy of Block Attack. We only pulled 1 of this card. This can be a good way to deal with big attackers that don't have quite as much defense. 2 copies of Fisher, again, prime removal. 1 copy of Paralyzing Potion, again, we only opened 1. What can we say? Metal Raiders has 100 commons. You're not going to get every common in playsets. Pot of Greed, Shield and Sword. Great way to deal with 2k defenders, or even go offensive with your own 2k defenders. Of note, you can play around this a bit yourself by playing Shield and Sword and then normal summoning afterward, because this only affects monsters that are currently on the field. Stop Defense is for dealing with 2k defenders, and they're going to be everywhere because of Prevent Rat. And then lastly, 1 copy of Tribute to the Doomed. This is a 2-for-1, but this is unconditional monster removal. Face up, face down, does not matter. And then just 4 traps, but they're all powerful. Mirror Force, this is a board wipe. We did not have board wipes previously, so this will be very, very powerful. Robin Goblin will seal up the game when we are ahead. 7 Tools of the Bandit in case our opponent has a bomb trap. This may be sided out depending on what our opponent opens. And then Solemn Judgment as a panic button. The only things we added to the side deck were the 1 copy of Soul Release in case our opponent has graveyard shenanigans. Pretty unlikely, but we do have that access. And then 2 more copies of Mask of Darkness. We don't have a ton of trap cards yet, but this card will be very powerful if we get a bunch of trap cards. I'm pretty excited to see what the Demon brought to the table this week. We do have a lot of game-changing cards in this set. It is time to duel. So, Demon, I hear you're probably excited to actually play with monsters that have effects. May I ask how your fishing trip was?
I think you'll find out the answer to that pretty soon.
Well, we shall see how this goes. This is a very important duel because there are a few cards we won't be able to get anywhere else on the line.
Yeah.
So if it was not explained at the beginning of the episode, we have decided to implement starter deck and structure deck cards into the progression series. How it works is for any time there is a pair of starter or structure decks released, the winner will get their choice of all the exclusive cards from that one deck, and then the loser will be able to optionally take the cards from the other deck. Now, there's a pretty obvious choice considering what's in starter deck Yugi, so hopefully I can snap that up. If not, that's okay. The Kaiba cards are pretty strong too. But
True.
either way, let's go ahead and get this show on the road. Good luck to you.
Good luck. Ah,
That's a pretty good start. I will take the play. Good luck, duelist.
good luck. Let's see.
I'll draw for my turn, stand by main. I am going to set a pair. Go ahead.
The Humble Tea set. Alright, I draw.
Considering this is the first set that actually has playable trap cards.
Okay, I think I'm going to set a couple of cards, and I think I will set this monster in defense mode.
Sure, you got it. No one wants to make the first move. Draw for turn, stand by main. Well, if you're not gonna make the first move, then I will. I am going to normal summon my Skull Red Bird.
That's a card.
I will flip up my Blackland Fire Dragon. I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack into your set.
Alright, that will... okay, that'll take my Tainted Wisdom.
I figured you might be on this just because of the presence of Skull Knight. Let's go for 1500 direct.
I will take that.
After combat, I'm going to set one more. Go ahead.
Alright. Draw. Ooh, there's a card. Alright, so I'm going to normal summon my 7-colored fish.
That's what I was afraid of. Sounds like your fishing trip was at least a partial success.
Let's go ahead and eat that Skull Red Bird.
I am okay with that. I will take 250 points of damage.
Alright. Main phase 2. I'm going to go ahead and set one more card. And pass the turn.
Draw for turn, stand by main. I do have the block attack for the 7-colored fish.
Yeah, that'll resolve.
I will run out Uraby. Proceed to the battle phase. Uraby into your 7-colored fish. And then Blackland.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Blackland for 1500 direct.
Alright.
After combat, I will set another back row, and I will proceed to the end phase.
Alright. Draw. Stand by main. Thinking. Let's cut the bit rate down and see if that helps. But...
sure, there is a Paralyzing Potion.
And then... and I will pass.
Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. Kind of want to see what your monster is. I do have the Stomp defense. Did I get a 2k defender? No, but I got the...
Oh, it's another Tainted Wisdom.
I did get the Tainted Wisdom. Alright, let's actually be a little bit aggressive with this. I'm actually going to go with my Giant Soldier of Stone here.
Alright.
Let's go to the battle phase. I will attack for 250 points of damage.
Alright, so that goes...
and then another 1300 points of damage.
Alright, I'll take it.
Go ahead.
Draw. Stand by main.
For your sake, you better have something to turn this around soon.
I know. Alright, I'm gonna set a monster and pass.
Draw for turn, stand by main. Let's proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack into your set.
Well, finally...
ah, the Prevent Rat. Okay, I will take 500 points of damage. After combat, I am going to set a monster, and I'm going to switch my Stone Soldier to defense position. Go ahead.
Right, I draw. Stand by main. That is not really what I wanted to see. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and activate my Hinotama.
I will take 500 points of damage. Still on the Hinotama, I see.
I'm going to set a monster And then I'm going to pass.
All right, draw for turn, stand by main. I will proceed to the battle phase, and I will attack into your new set. Is it another 2K Defender?
It is not. It is actually my Magician of Faith.
Oh, what's in here? Just the Hinotama. I don't care about that. Sure, you can 500 me. Pass!
I draw. Stand by main. Well, you know what I'm going to do?
Yup.
Fireball.
500 to the face. If that
And
actually
I'm
wins
going to go ahead and set another monster.
I'm gonna say, if that actually wins you a game, I'm gonna cry.
That would be funny.
Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. Alright, let's see this little defense card of yours.
God, I hate that you keep playing that.
Alright, let's proceed to the battle phase, and I'll just hit over it. For 1,000?
Yeah. So I take 1,000 here.
Yeah, stop defense is a pretty good removal tool. Pass.
Yeah. Kind of wish I had pulled more than one of them.
Yeesh.
Go ahead. Well, I guess I have no choice. I'm going to summon my Skull Redbird to the field.
Sure, Skull Redbird's fine.
And I'm going to equip it with a Follow Wind.
Sure, it's 1850.
Question is, do I want to go after your black land, or do I worry that it's gonna? Do I worry that you're gonna have something for the Fire Dragon? You know what? At this point, I need to make moves. So let's go ahead. Dragon.
Sure, that's fine. I'll take the 350.
All right. Finally, some progress here.
Draw for turn, stand by main. I think we're actually in pretty good shape now. I'm going to flip up my Spirit of the Harp. I don't know why that happened, but I'm not passing the turn. Then you probably know what's coming. I'm going to activate Shield and Sword.
Oh no!
So all currently
so
summoned monsters have their attack and defense switched, or their original attack and defense get switched.
Ew! So I'm gonna lose. So my Skull Redbird is down to 1,500 then.
It is. And I have a 7-colored fish of my own, which is not affected by Shield and Sword.
Ooh. So that would be 18.
I will proceed to the battle
23.
phase.
So I'm gonna be down to like 100 life
Yeah,
points.
you're not gonna. This will not be lethal, but it's a pretty big push. So my 2K Spirit of the Harp into your Skull Redbird, so you'll take 500.
Okay.
Then the Giant Soldier of Stone into your 500 defense prevent rat, and then this should be lethal. 2,000?
I misread that so bad. Okay.
Shield and Sword is so good. Alright, game 2. See if this one goes a little bit better for you. Alright, we'll see if this hand works a little bit better for you.
Alright, let's see. Draw. Stand by main. Alright, I'm gonna set a card. I think I'm just gonna set a monster and then set a back row.
Alright, draw for turn, stand by main. We'll start with the Blackland Fire Dragon again.
Alright.
Battle phase, hit.
You have attacked my big eye.
Okay.
So let's how do I actually do? Alright, I'm gonna banish the top 5 face down.
Yeah, that's
and
the
go
way
with it that way.
That's the most efficient way to do it. Did you know that Big Eye saw competitive play in Reaper format?
That's insane, to be honest. Like, I mean, it's a good playground staple. It's just in competitive, it's definitely not amazing.
It actually saw play specifically in the Stein OTK decks, because more consistency. Because by then, Stein had been reprinted in a method that was actually accessible to players. Alright, after combat, we'll set one, and pass the turn.
Draw. Stand by main. So we're gonna go ahead and run out a 7-colored fish.
You got it.
And let's go ahead and take care of that dragon.
300 in.
And pass the turn.
Draw for turn, stand by main. I do have the Dark Elf.
Ooh, okay.
Go to battle phase. I will pay cost to attack.
So that will take care of the fish.
And that'll do. Dark Elf's a pretty good card.
It is. It's a bit of an expensive card, but it's a good card. We're gonna summon out a Skull Redbird and pass the turn.
Interesting. Draw for turn. Standby main. What do you have? I'm gonna go ahead and run out this Witch of the Black Forest.
Yeah, there we go.
Proceed to the battle phase.
Knew we were gonna see at least one of those.
I'll proceed to the battle
All
phase. Right. I mean, if this is Mirror Force, I'm not down a bunch, but I will pay cost to attack. Do you have the Mirror Force?
I do not.
11 direct. You have to remember, your life points are a resource. Use them wisely. Go ahead.
True. Draw. Standby main. Alright, we're gonna run out another 7-colored fish.
I see your fishing trip was very successful.
Oh yes. And let's go ahead and take out the witch.
I will take 700 points damage. I will go to my deck and I will find something. What do I want to find is the question. Let's go ahead and find us a Magician of Faith.
Okay. Interesting. That's not what I was expecting you to pick up.
Draw for turn, standby main. I'll go ahead and run out a 7-colored fish of my own.
Ooh, alright.
Battle phase, attack into 7-colored fish, pay for
Okay.
cost. And then 18 direct.
Yeah.
Go.
Standby main. Darn it. That's out another 7-colored fish.
That 3 must be nice.
I actually pulled, I want to say like 4 or 5 of these things.
Wow, that's pretty nuts. Draw for turn, standby main. Unfortunately for you, unless you have a response, this is going to be the end of the game.
Go ahead and show it.
Cannon Soldier?
Yep. That's actually pretty frustrating.
Yeah, I think that the way our pools evolved, this matchup was very die roll dependent. And even if you didn't, I actually had another kill spell in my hand.
Oh, you pulled a Tribute to the Doomed. That's pretty sweet.
Tribute to the Doomed is a great card.
Well, I guess it's a better super rare than the one I pulled.
Oh, yeah, I mean, it's a bomb. It's a bomb, but I don't know how good the vanilla bombs are going to be. I think they're going to be good for one more duel, but then once we actually get just monster removal at rare, they won't be quite as good.
Right.
But either way, I really just felt like, 1, Dark Elf put in a ton of work, and 2...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, were you on Skull Knight? You don't have to show if you don't want to, but were you on Skull Knight?
Yeah, I was on Skull Knight.
I figured as much when I saw the
like, they were all
they
were commons. They were commons. I figured I'd do it.
So, did I mention I got both secret rares again?
Oh, so you pulled one too.
Yeah, I got both secrets again.
Oh, really? You pulled the Gate Guardian, huh?
Can we get both secrets in a set like Pharaoh's Servant when they're actually good?
I know, right?
All right. In any case, you can decide whether you want to take a spin at the wildcard wheel, or 6 more packs of the set, or your starter deck Kaiba cards, because I myself will be getting some starter deck Yugi cards.
That's the tough part, because, like, I already know full well I'm not taking the starter deck Kaiba. Like, there's a couple decent attackers in there, but honestly, that's not going to be enough to bring me out of this. So really the question is, do I want to take 6 more packs of the set, or do I want to go for a wild card, which... That's the tough one, because the wild card, depending on what I spin on the wild card, that could be useful, but the 6 extra packs of Metal Raiders might actually fill me out to something important, because thing is, I actually didn't pull any Sangin, or any Witch, or any Dark Elf.
Oh, yikes. Well, you're going to have a lot of time to make that decision, because I will need to go collect my starter deck cards and explain why I'm so happy to get them. Alright, that's a second win in a row. Dark Elf carried us to another victory, and instead of taking both of my wheel spins, I will take the contents of the starter deck Yugi that are not printed in a core set. Now, most of the cards that we get are vanillas, but there are a couple of cards that we have access to now that we won't be able to get access to in a lot of other products. The noteworthy cards are Soul Exchange and Card Destruction. Both of these cards are pretty good. Soul Exchange lets us tribute our opponent's monster for a tribute summon, but we lose our battle phase for the turn. And then Card Destruction lets us both get new hands. This could see play in some decks that play out of the graveyard. I don't know if we'll play it right away, but it is a good card. And then we do have some other cards that are noteworthy closer to the bottom as well. We get D-Spell, which is spell and trap removal, and we're really hurting for spell and trap removal, so I think it's a good idea to take this card until we can get access to some cards such as Dust Tornado, and that's not even a guarantee because that's also high rarity. We get Reinforcements, which is a battle trap. The Stern Mystic is an interesting one as well. It's a good size body, but the big thing that it does is it's going to let us scout all of our opponent's face-down cards. This might actually get played. And then Wall of Illusion is a very cool defender that will probably replace one of the 2K defenders in our deck. It's an 1850 defender that bounces attacking monsters to the owner's hand. This is a strong card. Neo the Magic Swordsman is a 1700 attacker. The big prize is Last Will. This is a card that I can see one of us eventually banning when we get to the mid-season. If one of your monsters on the field was sent to your graveyard during the turn you activate Last Will, you can special summon a monster with an attack of 1500 or less from your deck at any time during the rest of the turn. You don't have to do it right away, but you can do it any time on the turn that you activate Last Will. And then we also get Waboku. Waboku is a pretty good card as well. It prevents our monsters from taking battle damage, and it's effectively a one-turn reprieve from combat for a turn. Trapmaster is trap removal. This is something that could be very good if we don't wind up pulling Dust Tornado or Mystical Space Typhoon, and will probably go in our side deck for the foreseeable future. In both starter decks is also Ultimate Offering. Ultimate Offering is quite a card. During your main phase or your opponent's battle phase, you can pay 500 life points to normal summon or set an additional monster. This is not once per turn and can be used to flood the board in a hurry. So that'll wrap it up for today's episode of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Progression Series. Next time we have Magic Ruler, which is a set that's pretty top-heavy, but the cards on top are going to be pretty format-defining and can change the tide of the Progression Series. Until then, see you around.